Hi, and welcome to Eyes Wide Open, a daily short podcast on the topic of Moshiach and the upcoming redemption, dedicated in memory of Rabbi Tzvi ben Alexander HaKohen Kogan, Hashem Yinkein Domei. Over the past several episodes, we've been talking about the idea of the new Torah that Moshiach will teach. And we talked about what it means that there's a new Torah, that it won't be new in the sense that there's a second Torah, but a whole new way of understanding the Torah that was completely inaccessible to us until it is taught to Moshiach, and Moshiach teaches it to us, at which point we look back and it is so clear how this way of understanding the Torah was always in the Torah. And it'll be a marvel to us how we never saw it this way until now. When we learn about this idea, about the new Torah of Moshiach, it is more than just a theoretical concept, studying about something that will happen, but actually something that has profound relevance to us today, in the moments before Moshiach comes. And to explain this idea, I want to talk a little bit about the Torah of Chassidus, a Chassidic philosophy that was revealed by the Baal Shem Tov and expounded upon by his successor, the Maggid of Mizrich, and expounded on further by the Chabad Rebbes. And if none of those names sound at all familiar for you, that's okay, because we're going to do a little bit of historical background. In the 1700s, the Jewish people living in Eastern Europe were going through a really horrific time. Both spiritually and physically, they had gone through the Chmielnicki massacres that had really ravaged the Jewish people. There was a rabbi, or self-proclaimed rabbi, known as Shabtai Tzvi, who many Jews believed was Moshiach, and then he was revealed, he converted to Christianity, and this really shook the Jewish world. And these two calamities, alongside the general challenges of being a Jew, and especially a religious Jew in Eastern Europe, which was a very hostile country to the Jewish people, really took the toll upon the Jewish people. And although religiosity in terms of practice still flourished, the heart of Judaism and the emotional sides of Judaism was really getting lost. And it was a very cold, spiritually and emotionally, had become a very cold Judaism. In this moment, the Baal Shem Tov, Rabbi Yisrael Baal Shem Tov, revealed himself and taught Hasidic philosophy. And the topic of what exactly is Hasidic philosophy is a broad one, and is perhaps a little too much for the contents of this short Moshiach Thought podcast. But in short, the Baal Shem Tov brought again through Hasidic philosophy, brought fire and inspiration to the Jewish people, brought the heart of Judaism back to them, and showed them how to connect to God at an emotional level. And in a nutshell, he taught them how to love God and how to love their fellow Jew. One Rosh Hashanah, the Baal Shem Tov relates that his soul ascended to heaven, and he encountered there the chambers of Moshiach, and he met there Moshiach. What this means is something that only very holy people could understand. But either way, he met Moshiach, and he asked Moshiach, "When are you coming?" And Moshiach responded in Hebrew, "Lech kasheyafutzu ma'anesecha chutzo." In English, that means when the well springs of your teachings are spread outwards, are spread everywhere. And the Baal Shem Tov, when his soul returned to his body, revealed to everyone what had happened. And he taught this message, that the arrival of Mashiach is directly connected with the teachings of Hasidic philosophy. And the Rebbeim, the Rebbes, would teach that the wording of Mashiach was very precise. He didn't just talk about Hasidic teachings. He talked about the wellspring. In a wellspring, the wellspring is the heart of where the water comes from, the most intense part of the water. And the river itself might be very calm, but the wellspring, where the water comes from, is very intense. And it refers to truly the heart of Hasidic philosophy. And at the same time, it refers to these wellsprings being taught outwards, that we go to a place, a physical place, or a spiritual place, or an emotional place, or a mental place, which can feel like something outward, something external to Hasidic philosophy, and you teach there, and you express there the well springs of Hasidic philosophy. In other words, the very heart of what Chassidus teaches should be everywhere. Not that the heart of Hasidic philosophy should be where the most Hasidim are, and the further you get away from that, the further you get away from religious lifestyle, the more diluted it is, and maybe there's a few concepts that were taught here and there, but it's definitely not with the same passion and intensity. But that you shouldn't be able to tell where the wellspring is. Everywhere's a wellspring. Everybody has the same level of intense, passionate access to Hasidic philosophy. This was a message that Moshiach taught about Baal Shem Tov, and that Baal Shem Tov passed along to his students and to his successor, and who passed along to his successors, that Moshiach's coming is directly related not just with the teaching of Chassidus, and not just with teaching Chassidus on a broad scale, so that it's accessible to all, but to not dilute it, to make it understandable, but not to lessen it, to not dilute it, but to give the same open access of Chassidus to everybody. And over the next few episodes, we're going to talk about, well, why that is. Why is it that the teaching of Chassidus is so directly related to Mashiach's coming?